Hello, I'm here with technology and giving you a brief demonstration of our new Google Sheets add-on Classroom Sync, which is designed to sync data between your student information system and your Google Classroom learning management system, all through a friendly Google Sheets sidebar interface. So we're here on the Google Workspace Marketplace. Our application is currently in draft and will be approved um, shortly before you see this video, more than likely. And so you can see here the verification screen that we're going to work through. We have a specific identifier for our application that is being verified as well. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the verification process. As you can see, we have not verified yet. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and continue on, but you should not be seeing that screen when you get to it yourself. Um, it is going to initially ask for your name and email. That is standard, so we're going to move through that quickly and then see the list of permissions that are actually necessary for the application to function properly. So first of all, there are a number of application-specific permissions that it requires. So the application will need access to its own configuration data, which will be stored in Drive, as well as the ability to create and then edit and delete its own files. So none of your own files specifically, but just files that the application creates for things like logs and exports. It also needs to be able to interact with spreadsheets where it has been installed because it's going to be writing data, reading data, etc., but no other spreadsheets as well. The functionality of the app, which we'll get into shortly, is twofold. First off, to move to sync data from your student information system into Google Classroom for your classes and your rosters. So it needs to be able to create and edit courses or classes in Google Classroom. Um, it also needs to be able to manage those rosters. And so it is reading from the student information system and writing to Google Classroom in that functionality. The second major category of functionality it has is grade sync. So it needs to be able to read the coursework and grades from your Google Classroom classes and then write back to your student information system. It also needs the email addresses of your students and teachers for the sake of mapping the users between your student information system and your Google Classroom class. It will not retain any of that information. That's purely for mapping. We also need to be able to show uh, third party, well, show essentially sidebars and dialogues for you to interact with. This is the interface of the application. We need to be able to run the application without you there so that we can schedule these syncs to happen without you triggering them if you so choose. We need to be able to send email alerts so you can be notified when a sync has run or if it fails based on your own preferences and settings. And we need to be able to send out requests to your student information systems APIs and to the backend database where logs are stored. Again, all in Google Cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and hit allow and complete this authorization. And you can see here that we can go and find this in an extension in a Google Sheet. So we are going to do that quickly ourselves with a blank spreadsheet. So once this spreadsheet has loaded here, I should see Classroom Sync popping up and I can go ahead and start it. It will take a moment to load the first time, but I'll explain the functionality at a high level. First of all, you will need credentials, authorization from your student information system to read and write data to and from that system, similar to what we just provided for your Google account and your Google Classroom. Once you have that, which will be defined in setup, then you can do the class sync, which as I outlined, will be reading class and roster data from your student information system and syncing that to your Google Classroom. So it will create new Google Classroom courses. It will add And if you choose, remove your students and teachers, and it can do that on a scheduled regular basis without you having to worry about it. Similarly, GradeSync will actually read data from Google Classroom and then sync it to your student information system. So it will read the assignments and the submissions, the graded results from your Google Classroom learning management system and write it back to your student information system.
I will now give you a quick overview of the key functionality of the Classroom Sync application in the various steps that you are going to take as you set this up and run it for the first time and then schedule it to run while you're not around. So first thing you will need to do is to set up a connection to your OneRoster application, to your student information system with a set of credentials. And in our detailed video, we'll tell you all about how to do that. And this will allow the Classroom Sync application to connect to your student information system. You'll see when you plug in the credentials that it will test that connection, making a request to your student information system and validating that that's all correct. Once you have done that, you can move into the first sequence of actions, which is going to be syncing your class and your rosters, starting by exporting the classes from your student information system based on a set of filters that you will define. So we have just a couple or really just a single test class that we're using for this example here. We filter it for the specific teacher. You can filter it also at the school level or the organization level. And you're seeing that pull information from the student information system, write it to the Google spreadsheet, which is going to be your primary interface that you interact with, along with the sidebar that you see for the application. So the next step, once you've exported these classes, it just is to create classrooms or courses in Google Classroom, which you see here. A couple of different options of how you do that. You can use some AI to help generate those descriptions, and then that's going to set up the initial teacher or the owner of that course as well. The last step in this class and roster sync flow is to sync the rosters themselves. You can run this. You can also schedule this to run on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, which we expect you would do once you have this set up. You do have pretty granular control over whether you will add, remove, invite students and teachers individually. So you can set those settings. You can add things like substitutes or admins to all the classes if needed. Once we've synced your roster, then we're moving into the final sequence or the second sequence, which is your grades and your assignments first. So we start by pulling the assignments out of Google Classroom. So this is using your read access to the Google Classroom application to export that information into the spreadsheet as you saw. Then we're going to create those assignments that have been exported in the student information system. Again, pulling from Google Classroom, pushing to the student information system. And finally, we are going to run the grade sync. So pull grades from Google Classroom, push to your student information system, and that wraps up the application.